Hi, I'm Valen. We're currently staying at an Airbnb at the last stop of our journey here in glorious Long Island, New York, after spending the day in Manhattan, where just a few days ago, the official Percy Jackson team at Disney Plus had their premiere event. And the show is out now. It's been so long and it's finally here. Happy winter solstice, everybody. We get Percy Jackson now. Now that the first two episodes of the show are out, they are being very favorably reviewed by critics, currently standing at a 97% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience reviews have not dropped yet, so I'm a little bit skeptical, but needless to say, people are very excited about it, and they have a right to be. It's been a very long time of a lot of people asking for this to come to fruition, and finally it has. I personally am going to be wearing a few different hats throughout this viewing. I'm going to be trying to watch this series as both a filmmaker and a critic, and of course also a Percy Jackson fan. So I'm going in with very moderate expectations. I hope it'll be a lot of fun, but I'm not expecting anything super crazy. I just want it to be like the books, to be honest. So without further ado, good God, this has been going on for way too long, and we have not gotten to see any Percy Jackson in so long, so let's go. Let's just watch it. Episode 1, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. This episode is called I Accidentally Vaporized My Pre-Algebra Teacher. Let's watch it. Okay, here we go.
I didn't want to be a half-blood.
Starting off strong. Good music.
If you think you might be one of us, my advice is turn away while you still can. Because once you know what you are...
Yeah, they're going straight through the book introduction, which I'm pretty sure everyone was expecting after seeing that trailer. God, it's so well shot. It looks so good.
Some stuff that's...
Uh-oh, what did he do? Oh, is this where Blackjack comes in?
That's me, back in 2nd grade.
Oh, wow.
Why was I up there? I saw something.
Oh, yep. Okay, that's where Blackjack comes in. All right, I approve. I approve of it.
So, real 1 minute.
Has he been in boarding school like his entire life? Why does he have uniforms?
Hey fellas, wanna come
Is it a
back to the
different
imaginary stuff I see?
one?
So I didn't. And then... something
Hey, he's doing the drawing. That's super cool. Yeah. Okay, no, they have different
And not
different
just
uniforms.
because we both at the weird, but harmless.
It's kind of weird that he just canonically has underpants like that, even in the game. Wonder if there's like a lore reason for the Minotaur liking to wear tighty whities.
Reminders of what we are capable of.
Kyron has that perfect, well-spoken manner that you would grow to expect from him.
Okay, come.
He's so enthusiastic. I love it.
Perseus.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm very curious.
Not everyone who looks like a hero is a hero. And not everyone who looks
Wow.
like a monster is a
They're hitting that super early on. With Sally, too.
I named you
That's pretty
after
interesting.
Brave the storm that was made to break us, for we are unbreakable as long as we have each other.
That's so adorable. I love that.
Percy?
Mom?
I'm right here, sweetie.
Very interesting editing.
That's enough. Pay them no mind. You'll be needing this.
That's interesting. He's just handing it to him straight up.
It's a mighty instrument.
Good wordplay. Good call out to wordplay, I suppose.
Percy?
Oh, wow. Right away with it. Wow. He didn't control the water, though. That's a little weird.
We're not fools.
They are streamlining this. Oh my god. So yeah, they're not seeing this.
Where is it, half-blood?
Oh. There was no fight scene. This wow. They're going through this so fast. I mean,
Is he dead?
you got the message across.
What happened? Where's Mrs. Dodds?
Is that Mrs. Kerr?
I didn't touch Nancy.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, I mean, he could probably explain it a
Do
little
you have
better
any
than that, but that's fine.
He wanted to get back at Nancy for all she'd done to us.
Grover?
Oh,
He's
okay.
being truthful about what happened at the fountain.
Grover?
Interesting.
Are you saying you saw Mr. Jackson assault Miss Boba Fett?
Yes.
That's interesting. They're really playing into the idea of Grover not being really a part of this. And they're trying to give that audience that sort of suspicion of like, well, he's not really involved, so what is going on? That's a neat perspective to try with that.
Any of us?
You can tell me. I might just understand.
You want to bet?
They got a Yancey pickup truck? I thought this was a boarding school. Why is he going home in a cheap gardener pickup truck? I don't know. That one's beyond me.
Hey, Eddie. Sorry about that.
Hey, Eddie.
You're walking in. I should be apologizing to you.
Interesting. They're really hyping it up. I wonder if they're really going to make him that bad.
You gotta live by my rules.
Your roof? My mom is the only one employed here.
Excuse me?
Huh.
I have a job. What do we
Oh my
do?
god, I love his thick New York accent. It's exactly what I was hoping for.
Wow.
You know, that's really solid. I actually really like that. It's light, but it's not unimpactful. Sally's sitting in the rain. All right.
I'm all wet now. I'm sorry. I'm just very glad to see you.
She's
I told him I believed my kid. It was a real sure call. Hey. All that matters is that you're here,
kind of
okay?
quirky, huh?
And that I had enough time to pick up your welcome home gift.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he doesn't look too happy to receive any. I mean, okay, he's not in a good state, but like,
Told me about Grover.
I feel like he'd be happier to see her.
If you make this miserable, I'm gonna go anyway, and then I'm gonna eat my sandwich and yours while I listen to the game on the radio.
You know I hate watching the Knicks alone.
Interesting. They really kind of reversed the roles, didn't they?
Have them put the peppers on my sandwich.
You got it.
Gabe has no power here.
But,
He has-
storm out there, it's getting angrier, so.
He's got no hold over her at all. They really pushed the New York into Sally. They also have a lot of really hard cuts in this. Cool, so the rain was from a dream.
1, 2.
That's cool. That's really cute.
I don't think it was ever the marshmallow's fault I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so they're trying to lead into the backstory. We'll see how they give it.
What did she say to you?
She?
How did you know it was a she?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you know why we come to this cabin every year?
Because it's
Why
near
is
the
that?
septic tank, so it's cheap. Mom,
It's
how did you know
cheap.
about that thing I
We
saw?
come to this place every year because this is the place I met your father.
Okay, so he didn't know that before. Interesting. I'm still very curious why she knows about Mrs. Dodds.
Here.
Waiting for this to
on
come
the
around.
beach. At all, he was a god.
She dropped it on him. Wow, go in, Sally.
You fell in love with God? Like,
A god. Percy.
Lowercase g.
Sometimes they are known as half-bloods.
Yeah, okay.
the monster called me.
Connecting the dots, yep.
What's happening?
You are a half-blood.
Still very curious why she knows Electo.
Are not safe in the world.
Why would she let him hang out at that school?
I just...
Why are you telling me
Percy,
this?
I know that this is hard to understand.
This is just crazy. It feels like it's all coming down in like a single day.
Crazy.
This is a lot. Yeah, no, yeah.
Something wrong with my brain.
It feels like he's actually just getting too much information coming in at once.
And Grover,
This is a little time sensitive. Could someone maybe open the door?
what is he doing here? I don't want to see him.
Oh shit. So they were planning this. They were planning this for a while, I guess.
So definitely not panicking. I feel very good about how we're doing so far.
Grover's hilarious.
You didn't tell him about me? You're early.
Oh, so this was a planned, like,
So
talk.
the important thing is not to panic.
That's cool. They're really playing into, like, the grand vibe of things instead of, like, creepy, scary.
I'm a satyr.
Hey, my boy's got his horns.
Well, none of us saw Dodds coming.
Why not?
That thing that Dodds turned into.
Why not?
Dodds' wings. Even Dodds' absence.
That's great. So his legs are hidden by the mist.
You told him about camp, right?
Not yet, no.
Camp is a sanctuary.
Sally's a little... She's a little bit much sometimes.
Is that the Minotaur?
Once the attacks start, they never let up.
Interesting. Okay, that's weird. So he's saying as if it's coming up in a line.
Training for what's still ahead of you.
What's ahead of me?
Boys,
Yeah, I'm actually 24.
hold on, please.
Just casually drop that. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, sounded like a little bit of a stock sound effect there. Some budget shots for sure. They didn't want to show the road, I guess. Whoa, okay. Alright, yeah. I am very appreciative of the high budget that they got. It's just, I would kind of like some, you know, some wide shots maybe, some action shots from outside the car. But that's okay. I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot of good shots in the upcoming fight. Cool, she has a flashlight on her.
That's the boundary.
There it is.
No monsters can cross it. Percy will be safe on the other side. Percy will be totally safe, I can't
Swear it.
What's happening?
Whew.
Swear it, Grover.
That is...
The wrong way. Do you understand me?
Wow. She's got a lot more fire in the series, for sure. She's not the gentle, kind soul from the book.
You are not broken.
That's great. I love that.
You're singular.
That's really special. I like that.
Hold fast. Brave the storm.
Call back to OG Perseus.
Give me your coat.
Why? What are you gonna do?
He smells half-blood. That's what he's tracking, yeah?
The jacket! There we go!
It'll be okay.
Using the scent. Diverting the scent. That's perfect. Oh, God, yes! Splitting it up with the jacket. Absolute geniuses. That's a big boy. Dude. Okay, Percy's in fight or flight right now. He's gonna come back. He's gonna choose fight before she goes. I really, really want that. Okay, so that's funny. It's not because it's red. It's because it smells like Half-Blood. But that tracks. That's so good. Oh, yeah. Whew. Yeah. There it is. Oh, man. So yeah, it is just melding into like a light morphing thing that turns into a sword. I swear to God, that stock sound effect is so familiar. It sounds like it's from Skyrim or something. Oof. Alright, let's go. Percy, you're not injured. Just get up. That's a cool roll. I like that. And he got on the back. Dude, let's go. Oh my God, he ripped it off. He did it. Oh my God, that looks so cool. And the way he fell into the dust, too. Oh, I love that.
Welcome to camp, Percy Jackson. We've been expecting you.
Nice. And that's it. Wow. He's entered the camp. It's very exciting. Oh man, and the fact that Riordan was directly involved, it just makes it so special. Becky. This end credit art is really cool. Sparks and shadows. Oh, that's Bear. That's Bear. Good job, Walker. And Aryan, too. Good, fantastic acting for the both of those guys. Oh, is this a preview? No. I'm not gonna watch the preview for the next bit. Okay, wow. There is a lot to go over with that first episode. There was so much that felt like it was really, really trying to get the point across and go on its way. It really did what it set out to do, which was to make the point and get him going, basically. They wanted to really get through the initial part of him being at Yancey, him sort of understanding that things are weird, and then, you know, things sort of blowing up with Dodds. It was very, I want to say, not abrupt, but it went by ridiculously fast. It was something that I was expecting was going to get more time to it, and I'm a little sad that it didn't get as much time as I thought it was, but it was really effective in terms of time management and also just the quality of dialogue writing in particular was really good, especially when it came to expository dialogue. It really did such a good job at making its point and also being pretty subtle about it. There were a few points where it might have been a little more on the nose, but for the most part it was very nuanced, it was very efficient. I think that's the word I'd like to use the most for this episode. Was it was concise. It really did what it wanted to do and bounced. And I have a huge amount of respect for that because of how difficult it actually is to do. Having personally gone through that, it is very hard to be concise and also be very effective with the dialogue that you're actually pushing out. Of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because the fact that they were so concise and they were so brief with these early scenes meant that there was a lot of potential emotion, I guess, that was sort of lost in the grand scheme of things. I think that a lot of characters like Gabe were very underdeveloped. Like, he didn't need to be too developed. Characters are actually something I'm going to go into a bit later, but when it comes to how they did the dreams, they did a few other things. I'm trying to remember. It just felt like some of it was rushed, not in a bad way. It was just there are two sides to that coin. There is the fact that they are coming in, doing what they need to do, getting out, which is great, but it also means that there's not going to be much time to sit on it and let that characterization come out and sort of naturally develop over that time, because they're not really giving it the time to do that. They're not really providing Nancy with anything. They're not providing Gabe with anything. They're honestly not even really giving much in terms of Chiron or Grover at the very beginning, because they're really just making the point of, hey, these are these characters, this is their deal, and then they have the events proceed. And the way they did Dodds was really quick and effective. It did sort of make Dodds out to be a bit incompetent, probably. But honestly, the way that they had Percy just sort of flip it out, it was pretty realistic in terms of, like, yeah, she probably wouldn't have seen that coming, so it's a logical attack to have happen. It's just, I don't know why Percy would have thought to do that necessarily. It doesn't really, it's not, he was handed a pen. I don't know what he would be thinking, like maybe stab him with the pen, but like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what would be going through his mind. We can only really interpolate what we've seen, and I mean, personally, it does sort of make sense with Chiron introducing it as a mighty weapon. So maybe that's really just the indication that they wanted to provide for that, and they just didn't want to push it any further. I gotta keep singing my praises for the quality of the writer's dialogue, the efficiency of these scenes. Pacing, maybe pacing is something I could criticize a little bit, because it feels like the pacing was very rapid. Very, perhaps a little bit too rushed. I think they were trying to jam too much into such a short runtime. They got it in about probably like 35 minutes, more or less, and they probably needed double that amount of time in order to effectively, get across the entirety of the message and the characterizations and everything. But they went through the old myth tales of Perseus. They talked about all these different stories. They talked about the Minotaur. They really covered their bases on the mythological side, and I only wish that maybe they added some visuals to those explanations, because when you're hearing it, it's not the same as seeing it, and I feel like that's an unfortunate downside of adapting an adaptation of old stories, is that you're going to have a character just explain it to you, or you're going to have to just put a pause on the story to hop to a different story and explain what this story is and why it matters in relation to what's currently happening. And that's sort of the way that the entire Percy Jackson series operates, which, sometimes it might just be better to not do it at all and not really explain it and just show through the current situation what happened in the original story. But I don't know. There's an interesting line to draw. I think that the best thing to do is just offer as much towards going to the original sources and checking out the stories yourself and getting that additional context, additional information. Just, encouraging that as much as possible, I think, is probably the best way to go about it. But the way they handled it was pretty good. Characterizations. The kids were great. I absolutely adored Walker and Aryan as Percy and Grover. They absolutely killed it, especially Aryan, honestly. Like, Percy, you sort of can mentally get an idea of, like, what his personality is, and you can really, like, pin him down pretty easily. He's just young Ryan Reynolds. It's not hard. But for Grover, he was very much a blank slate in terms of what they ended up going with for him. They had him be this cautious guy, but they gave him so much flavor, and Aryan's performance really brought that through, I think, and he just did such a good job. I have no complaints from either of their performances. Sally Jackson's actor also did a very, very good job. They really pulled out the New Yorker in her at times, which I thought was just hilarious and a lot of fun. Their argument, hers and Gabe's, about the sandwiches, it was pretty similar to the idea of, like, the Long Island loggers that I was pitching, and it works. It does the job, and I'm concerned about her characterization a little bit. I don't think it's the worst change to ever have, but making her this really aggressive, really bad bitch slay kind of character, it's definitely a deviation from the book. She was very docile, very kind, very warm in the original, and she definitely does have that mother bear instinct in this show. But what I was really, really curious about was why they had her telling him all these stories in such a overt way, I suppose. They had her as a very, I don't want to say off-putting, but she had a level of confidence that did not befit the story that she was taking part in. Everything she was saying was fine, I think. The conversation she had with Gabe was fine. It definitely just destroyed the original dynamic of Sally and Gabe, which may be for the best, to be honest. If you make Gabe more docile and Sally the more aggressive one, it's certainly less complicated to talk about. It means you don't have to go into the whole mess of talking about the spousal abuse and all the crazy shit that goes on in the book that ultimately leads to just this explosion of emotion that causes Sally to fucking murder him. I just hope that in the end they're not using this. I mean, what am I talking about? Of course they're going to use this personality switch as a justification for her killing Gabe at the end. Because the whole problem I had with the situation was the character of Sally would not do that. Would not turn him to stone the way that she did in the book. This Sally, I could actually believe it. So maybe that was the reason they changed her character like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think it's a bad change. It's just definitely a different dynamic between her, Percy, Gabe, and even Grover. I mean, like, she had very upfront, blatant conversations with him that was, you know, witty, I'd say. I didn't expect Sally to be such a witty character. She has a lot of, like, pushback and, like, you know, smart comebacks when it comes to just exchanges of dialogue. It felt like that was new to see. And, I mean, honestly, part of it, a lot of those lines were quite refreshing, so. Well, at the very least, I am incredibly excited to see what they do with this premise that they've built up. It's very, you know, tightly packed together. Hopefully, episode 2 and 3 will sort of smooth out the edges and refine it a bit more. Hopefully give a bit more time to it, because it feels like things are going so fast that not a lot is really allowed to be felt. We're sort of going through this so fast that it feels like we're not giving the appropriate amount of time to really sit down and think about what we're actually dealing with, the actions that are happening, and the sort of explosive reveals that are coming at Percy. I think we should definitely be giving him a little bit more time for that. Hopefully the future episodes will be doing that. But that's it. Overall, very high praise for this episode. I'll, you know, have to consider it a bit more to think about the critical aspects I have. But, you know, as of right now, in terms of adaptational fidelity, I am extremely impressed. It has done such a good job of sticking right to the books, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.